Hello. Welcome to this episode of the Rogers Radio Podcast. I am your host, Alyssa Rogers. Today, it's all still the month of December, all about giving back. It's the holiday season. And you see who I have with me today, Dan Hayes, Executive Director of the Community Foundation for Dan River.
Yep, Dan River Region is the way we title it, but it's the same thing.
Community Foundation. And I mean, you're in the spirit today. I'm in the spirit today. And
Winnie the Pooh tie in case it doesn't come across on the camera.
Yes. How cool is that? And we're going to talk about giving back and how people can give back. And we've been talking about this the entire month of December. And I just want to continue the conversation because you're helping people give back in a very big way. And that's throughout the year.
Right, exactly. We're excited to do it as well. It's a neat opportunity where community foundations were started to be able to make a difference forever. Yeah. So it's exciting to be a part of it. I don't want to take away from too many of your questions too early, so go ahead.
I mean, this is an open conversation.
Okay, very good.
I just want everyone to get to know you and what you do and what the foundation is here for. And I mean, we'll first start with you because you started with the foundation in July,
yes,
correct?
Not a long time.
And you have hit the ground running and have done great things. But first I want to know about Dan Hayes and kind of what led you to becoming the executive director.
I'll do the shorter path. I could do the longer path. I've always had an attitude of service and giving back. You know, it's great to talk about that in December. And I think that's a personality that, people with that kind of they find their place in the world being able to do that. So I came to the area because I wanted to go to college at Averett in Danville. And when I graduated from Averett, there was no jobs in the area for my career field. So I picked where the real money is, nonprofit administration.
Yes.
So absolutely. So I worked for the Boy Scouts for a bunch of years. I worked for a small chamber of commerce in Pulaski County. I worked for a small boarding school east of Richmond. I worked for Averett University as the alumni director for a bunch of years. And all of that gave me the opportunity to get the experience built up that I needed to get this job and really be a part of something really big and exciting and well-established and successful of working at the Community Foundation. That's sort of the short path of how I got here.
And you came here to Danville to go to Averett. So where did you come from?
I graduated from high school in Virginia Beach. Please don't hold that against me. So no, it was a great place to live. I have found that I have the opposite of whatever claustrophobia is. I think there's a word for it. You know, if there's not a hill nearby, or maybe some trees and a mountain nearby, I start to get a little nervous. So Danville, in Halifax is the perfect kind of area for me, where there's some hills to hide behind and all that kind of stuff. So
nice.
It's exciting. So I really love this area. So I'm glad to be back here. We've moved away a couple times to see if the grass may be greener elsewhere. But when the grass is greener, you have to mow it more.
Yes.
So Danville and Halifax have been the perfect area for me and my family to be able to grow up and to be able to mow the grass the right amount.
Yes. Well, welcome back.
So absolutely.
Welcome to the foundation. And for those who don't know and that are listening and watching right now, tell us about the Community Foundation.
Very good. The Community Foundation was started in 1996. It was started over in Danville, and it was started by a group of people who realized that people who were needing to do something with extra money that they had, all of that money was going out of town. It was going to very, very admirable things. It was going to the American Heart Association, St. Jude's. It was going to wonderful things, but all of those people were disappointed that there wasn't a way to be able to do it locally. So they got a bunch of people together, and a community foundation was a new thing that had started. And back then, they'd been around for 40 years or something. But what they wanted to do is to make sure that people were able to give money that would stay local to do things for your neighbor. And I guess about 15 years ago, we started serving the Halifax County area, and with the goal of keeping some money, exactly the same thing, keeping money in Halifax County, so that your neighbors would be able to get that extra bit of support that they needed. And it's not just lifting people up. Sometimes it's supporting things that make the community better for all of us. So yes, it's to support things like the food bank,
right,
and the Boy Scouts and the fire departments.
mm-hmm.
It's to support those things, but it's also to support things like the arts. The name went right out of my head. It's
mm-hmm.
right next door.
The Prizery.
The Prizery.
Mm-hmm.
The Prizery has received some money from us over the years,
yep.
To be able to do things that, because arts and community parks mean something to mm-hmm. our hearts and to our minds, and, mm-hmm. and help us to relieve stress and to be able to be better people because we've got those things in our community. So it's for that also. So it's not just to lift people up, it's to lift people up that just need to be able to get to that next level and to improve our community for everyone.
Yeah, and there are certain agencies and people and different things going on in the community that all of a sudden they need help with something
right.
that they weren't expecting.
Right.
And
absolutely.
so they can submit an application to help with that, right?
Absolutely. So there's two levels, and they both kind of go with what you're talking about. The first one is a project. Someone mm-hmm. comes up with a big project. Wouldn't it be great if we had this opportunity to do, there's a lot of kids that are in the middle school, for example, mm-hmm. and the meal that they get is their meal that they eat at school. So on the weekends, they don't have a meal. So we've funded several backpack programs where on Friday, those kids get a backpack that mm-hmm. no one else knows what's in it, mm-hmm. but they get a chance to take some food home to be able to have food mm-hmm. for the weekend. Mm-hmm. That's a great project. And yes. that's a project they can plan in advance and really make a difference for things, because when kids are fed, they can learn better. If they can learn better, they have higher achievement rates. Mm-hmm. If they have higher achievement rates, they do better things for our community. Mm-hmm. So it's a win-win for everybody. And so that's the reason we support things like that. But I'm not sure, you may have been also getting, if you were running the food pantry and in July, your roof had fallen apart.
Right.
And so you've got some emergency reserves and you repair your roof, but then 3 months later, the air conditioning goes out.
Right.
Well, here in Virginia, we need our air conditioning.
Yes.
But that's going to be, for a food pantry, that could be $10,000, $15,000. Right. And so we do have an emergency fund that nonprofits can apply to us and say, listen, we had a plan, but this was unexpected, and we need some help, and so we're able to do that as well. So we have the long-term projects that they're coming up with, but then also the emergencies that we're able to help out with as well.
That is fantastic. And, since you've joined in July, what is now your vision for the foundation? I have
a personal thing that I'm excited
yes.
about. Our board is really excited about education right now.
Yes.
We really want to focus on, there's a lot of groups that are doing things about education. So there's groups that help with tutoring. Mm-hmm. There's groups that help with food. Mm-hmm. There's groups that help with supporting teachers. But sometimes there are gaps between those where those are connected. And so the passion of the board right now is to find ways that we can help make those connections come together. In Danville, we were very fortunate to find an example where there was two nonprofits where one had kids that needed to read and the other one had books that they needed to get to kids that didn't have books. But the kids that needed the books and didn't have books couldn't get to the library, and the library didn't know where to find the kids that were so that these two nonprofits got together and brought their strengths together. And so we were able to help with funding mm-hmm. that, and we're able to help with bringing them together to be able to see that gap is met. So we don't just work as a funder, we work as a convener. Because we've got a lot of money that we're able to give out, people take my phone call a lot faster.
They do.
It's good. So, if I was just calling and saying, hey, Roger's family, I'd like to call and ask for money, well, maybe maybe I'll call him back in a week or so. But if I'm giving away money and everybody knows that, well, I better call and see what he needs. He might want to give me money. And so I can say, well, I don't have money to give right now, but I want to get a couple groups together to see, so you've got a nonprofit that does food and they've got a nonprofit that is in the schools. And how can we get you two together to multiply what we're doing? So we're able to use the power that we have because of the finances to be able to convene people together to economy of scale. Is that the right word?
Collaboration.
Collaboration. That's the right word. Very good.
Is a currency.
Absolutely. It really is.
Yes.
The way that it's able to multiply and grow because people got together and agreed to do something is a wonderful thing.
Yes.
So absolutely.
So it sounds like, you have such a cool job.
It is, isn't it? I know, right?
I'm sitting here and I'm like, wow, how cool is it to have a job where you're giving back and you get to create these smiles and this sigh of relief for many.
That's the biggest one we get is that sigh of relief. It's that, this was going to be hard to do, but this is going to be easier now. It's wonderful to be able to do that. Yes.
That sounds like an amazing thing to be able to go home and say, you made that many people's day on a consistent basis and to watch the collaboration happen. I'm sure it's fantastic.
And we've got a great staff that is really excited about getting it to happen. So there's people, we have an accountant and their job is not sexy and exciting, but it's necessary. You can't run a business that gives out $1 million a year without one.
Right.
But that person knows what their piece is to make sure that all of that you just mentioned, that collaboration, that sigh of relief, make sure all those things are happening. So it's nothing I could do by myself. There's I just poked my microphone. I apologize to all of you that heard that. So, they know their piece of working with the board and with the foundation and with the staff to be able to make that happen. So there's a whole team of us that get to do it.
Yes. And you've had so many, I'm sure you have tons of stories of just the sigh of relief, the smiles and how people feel when you're able to donate this money. How are the funds, how do businesses get involved in helping with this fund and how do individuals get involved? How do you raise the funds?
We ask really nicely. If you were a billionaire, if let's say you were Garth Brooks and you had an extra $30 million, you would start your own foundation. And because it costs a lot of money to run a foundation because there's staff and there's people, there's accountants, there's tax experts, there's all that kind of stuff that needs to be had. So the way we work is we're able to work with people. We're the community foundation. So we work with people in the community to be able to get together and do what they can do. It's not about what they can't do. It's what can you do. Some people can give $50 a year. Sure. And the good thing is that $50 lasts forever. But the same thing works if you wanted to be able to start your own fund. You could start a fund that says, listen, I want to make sure that I've been a big advocate for the food bank and I want to make sure some money goes to the food bank after I pass away. Well, when you get to that retirement age, you build up a retirement account. And you may or may not have somebody to pass that on to afterwards. But what we can do is you can will a portion of that or give a portion of that to us. And then we invest that money and the money sits forever. And the revenue from that investment is what we're able to give out every year. So by pooling it all together, we have the strength of a Garth Brooks or a Ford Foundation or any of those, the foundations that you hear about on the radio. This advertisement sponsored by the whatever foundation. But we have that same power, but it's not from one person. It's from a community of people that have gotten together. So I brought the names of the people that started. We have a fund that's focused on the Fund for Halifax. And so when people in Halifax give money to that, it can only go to the neighbors that are here in Halifax County. And it was started by Major General Carroll Thaxton. I can't say his name. I could never call him Carroll. And I would hesitate to call him Mr. Thaxton. It's Major General Carroll Thaxton to me. But then there was Bill Kelleher and someone else. but the three of them got together and said we needed to start something locally. And so slowly that is building up as people give $100 there, $50 there, $10,000 there, to be able to build that fund up. So now that fund is almost halfway to our goal. Our goal for that right now is to get it to $250,000. And that would be able to give a good percentage of money back to the community.
What a great gift that is to people, though. And,
absolutely.
And even I'm thinking of when you have this person in your life and you don't know what to get them for Christmas.
Yes.
You could actually put money into this fund and say, I donated this on behalf of you.
Right. And we would send them a letter that says the same thing also.
Yeah.
If you said, I did this in honor of Alyssa Rogers, then we would get that gift and we would say, Alyssa, a great thing has been done in your honor because of the great thing you've done. You've been recognized for your contribution to the world by a gift that's been given to the Fund for Halifax in your name. So it wouldn't just be a card saying, oh yeah, I gave it. It would be a letter, a formal letter from us saying a great thing has been done in your honor. So
that is a great gift.
It is a great gift to be able, especially for the person that has everything.
Yes.
You know, you have those people that, like my parents, they don't want any more stuff. In fact, every time I go over there, they're saying, hey, don't you need an extra set of hammers? No, but I'll take it. I get it. Okay. So they don't need another hammer. What they need is they just want to be cared about and know that someone cares. So to give a gift in their honor and for them to get a letter that says that is a nice way to be able to recognize people.
Absolutely. So be thinking about that. And, you know, it is for Halifax County. And then there's a whole Danville side of it too. So if you are watching or listening in Danville, you can get involved.
Absolutely.
In Halifax County, you can get involved with this. And
Caswell County in
Caswell County.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you are watching or listening, you can get involved in this.
And we can't forget the Pennsylvania people too. The Pennsylvania people they're not Danville either. So
yes, our entire region, the Dan River region.
The Dan River region, absolutely.
And we are all part of that. And I know that everyone that's watching and listening is part of that region.
Right.
So you can give back, and these are great gift ideas because the turnaround is pretty quick, right?
Yep, absolutely. Within the week.
Okay, so
absolutely.
I mean, because we're getting down to it, and you still have time. So if you're still missing that gift, you can give the gift to the community.
And the thing I like to remind people of is that it does last forever. We never spend that money that you send. It's always just the investment returns.
Wow.
So that your gift to the foundation lasts forever. And so if someone wanted to start their own fund, they can give to the Fund for Halifax. But if they wanted to create their own fund, that a portion went to their church, a portion went to their favorite rescue squad, and then a portion went to the Fund for Halifax, they could do that and set that up with us. You have to have a minimum of $10,000 to start your own fund. And then the more you do, the more it's able to support. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. We can help with, you don't have to donate just money. You can donate an appreciated stock that you don't want to deal with the capital gains on.
Right.
If you've got a property that's hard to sell and your kids don't want to deal with it, you can donate that. And then we can use that, and then the profits of that would come to the foundation. And it can go to what your vision is for the community. And we encourage people to make a portion of that being about, give it to that. The reason we would encourage people to give to the Fund for Halifax is that unrestricted value of it. The Fund for Halifax isn't promised to anybody. You have to be in Halifax, but let's say 20 years from now, all of a sudden, healthcare is not a problem. They've finally fixed the entire healthcare system. Well, if you had designated your fund to just go towards healthcare, well, now we can't do anything with it. So if you make it go to the unrestricted fund and say you have a preference for healthcare, as long as healthcare is a problem, we'll give it to healthcare. But as soon as research into communicating with our pets on a higher level, 50 years from now, that might be a thing.
Right.
Where we're actually able to talk to our animals and we find out what their opinions are and their thoughts are. So we would able to be a direct funding towards that because, well, healthcare is not needed anymore, but we could go towards the health of pets and health of animals and make sure that's a thing.
I love that it can be customized to what they're passionate about.
Right, absolutely.
That's great.
And because it's about making sure that your legacy lives on. And it naturally, there are some rules. We don't want crazy people doing crazy stuff with it.
Right.
There's all the things that you can think of. Well, I wouldn't want my money going to, well, we don't either.
Right.
We don't
Right.
either. So,
Right.
but you can make sure of that by choosing what direction you would like it to go to. It doesn't matter whether it's scientific or religious or human services or we actually have people that have created funds to support just pet organizations, which I think is awesome. Because then what happens is that friend that has everything that loses a pet. You can give a gift in honor of their pet's name that then
That's
goes back
nice.
to the person and to know that it's going to go to support other people's animals as well. And I know that there's a shelter that's here in, I think it's in Nathalie, that has been received funding from
Yep.
us before. I'm not positive I got the right town. I'm pretty sure it's Nathalie.
Yeah. Well, speaking of stories, I mean, give us a feel-good story that just sticks out in your mind.
So let's see.
I know there are so many.
There are. One of my personal favorites
Yes.
is volunteer fire departments. Because I am not a firefighter and I should not be a firefighter. And there's no way that I could give enough to really make a fire department go. And the people that join fire departments are not fundraisers. And they shouldn't be.
Right.
I don't want them to be studying fundraising. I want them to be studying firefighting.
Yes.
And so we are able, so regularly, the fire departments in the area are recruiting young people. Yeah, I think once you're 16, you can be a firefighter. Is that true?
I think so.
Something like that. 18. It doesn't matter what age. They're hiring young people. They don't have any resources.
Right.
Do you know how much a firefighter's turnout gear costs?
No.
I think it's $4,000 a person.
Wow.
For that jacket, the pants, the boots,
Wow.
the gaiters, the helmets, and every person needs it. It lasts for a long time, but wouldn't it be horrible if we told someone that was going to volunteer to come to my house and put out a fire, have them, I'm volunteering to help you, but I have to go buy my own turnout gear,
Right.
and it's more money than I've ever had in my life. And so we are able to give funding to some of the fire departments in the area. Okay, you've recruited someone. Let's get them some gear and get them out helping people.
Right.
And I don't know if that one's exciting. I still get chills talking about it.
Yes.
A corny one, is it corny? I don't know. We have several funds that people have given to that pets make a difference in our lives. And so we have some people that have given money to say that, listen, if someone comes in and they're on a fixed income, you've got that 75-year-old grandma and she's got Fluffy, and Fluffy is what, sometimes our pets are what keep us alive.
They do.
And keep us going because it's someone that we have to take care of every day. And we are givers. We are herd animals by nature. And so, but all of a sudden that person, that vet bill that they've gotten is more than they could afford. And so but we've got a fund where people can call and say, listen, can you help this person out? Yeah, we can. We can help that out because that's what this person was passionate about and wanted to see happen. What a thought.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
That is fantastic.
So that person gets to keep their, you can register your animal as a comfort support animal. All of them are comfort support animals. And so I've got 2 cats and I love them dearly. And I would be horrified to think that something would happen to them.
Right.
But I know that there's people out there that if I couldn't help them, I wouldn't have to lose them just because of a minor injury.
Wow. I mean, the amazing things that you're doing, the foundation is doing, your entire team is doing for the community. Thank you for the effort and time and energy that it takes to do something like that. And thank you to all the donors.
Absolutely. I think that's the big thing.
Yes.
Is like you said, my job is great. I would almost do it for free. I hope the board doesn't watch that part.
Do we need to take that part out?
Can you edit that out? That would be good. Edit that part out. Thanks, man. All right, very good. But it's a wonderful job. The people that are making the difference are the donors that give, because they're giving a portion of.
Yes.
I have a friend that there was a political campaign years ago that said, "Let's make America great."
Yeah.
And I think that and my buddy told me this. The thing that makes America great is people like you or you that have given money from their hard-earned income that they have spent years building up, and they're willing to give that to support someone they'll never meet. So isn't that
It's powerful.
so there you are the people that are making a difference.
Yes.
If you've all of you that have sent $50 or $10,000, we had a woman recently that came and wanted to start. There are people that want to go to college and they want to learn. They want to become a farmer. We need farmers. I like to eat.
Yes.
I love to eat.
Yes.
It's something I try to do several times a day. But she wanted people that are going to college to learn about farming to not have to worry about the money as much. Let's support those people. And she wanted, if you're from Halifax and you want to study agriculture, there's a scholarship out there that you could apply for.
Hey,
because she wanted to see that happen.
Yes. So. And there are amazing stories like this happening in your world every single day. I think more people need to hear about them, know about them. And so I'm glad that you're on here talking, just scratching the surface on what is available out there. And everyone that's watching and listening, you can get involved in this. And so tell everyone how they can get involved, how they can reach out to you.
Easiest way is through the website.
Okay.
And I think most people are pretty website savvy, and ours is relatively easy to remember. We are the Community Foundation of the Dan River region. And if that was the whole website, that would be horrible, because when you're typing that, you would lose track of it. But it's CFDRR.org.
Okay, and it's linked, so go ahead and click that.
So very good. So if you go there, you can get our phone number. If you wanted to give online, you can do that. But if you wanted me to meet you, what's the nearest restaurant to here?
Oh, there's so many.
Just pick a restaurant right nearby. That one.
Southern Plenty.
That one. Okay, very good. If you wanted me to meet you there at Southern Plenty and to talk about how you could start a fund, I will meet you there, and we'll talk about it right here in Halifax, because this is where the money is going to stay and make a difference. So so a lot of times people right there that are I can tell that you've got a very specific question. And you say, well, this is how my situation works. So that's what we want to do. And so there's no way I could answer every situation. You know that we couldn't do that. So, but I would love to get together and let's sit and talk and find out what the best option for you is. But if you just want to give, if you want to start by giving $50 today, then you could do that by going onto our website, cfdrr.org, and supporting that way.
And, that is so important in what you just said, because I still feel like we are all good people. I think people are good.
Absolutely.
And I know we can hear all these things on the news about bad, but I believe that people are good.
People still love their pets and love their children. Yep.
Yes. And we all want to give back, but sometimes it can be overwhelming because we don't know where the funds are going or what we're supposed to be giving to.
Because there's nightmare stories about that too.
Yes.
Right, absolutely.
This takes that away.
Because you can trust, the thing that I like about the Community Foundation is I have no control over anything. I am looking to people like you're involved with our Fund for Halifax Committee. The Fund for Halifax Committee is who decides where the money goes locally. And and the good thing is if for some reason you didn't like Alyssa, there's four other people that are on there that she's not related to at all that are helping to make sure that money is spent to something useful local. And you're all volunteers, so thank you to you as well.
Oh, for sure. And it's a very secure process. And, it gets voted on, but it's not, together. I mean, we're separate voting and scoring. And so it really does go to the right things.
And I think something else I'd like to throw out while I'm here, while we've got the big wide reach right now, is you might be part of a not-for-profit organization that's having troubles getting things going. And because we don't have to just give money, like I said, people take my phone call. So if you wanted to, you want to get connected with this church to be able to see if they would help you with expanding the operation that your nonprofit is doing, call me. If you can't get them to answer your calls, call me. I'm good at getting in the door. And I will, we will be able to, we call it convening. And I don't know if that's too big a word or I love it. So our job is to get people together to be able to do that collaboration that we talked about earlier.
Collaboration is everything.
So if you need that help for your organization, give us a call. Let's see if we can make that happen.
Yes. So if you're a business that is watching and wants to get involved or needs help with something, reach out. If you're an individual and you want to give back, reach out. And if you're looking for that great gift, reach out because this is a fantastic initiative, fantastic foundation. And I'd love to see everyone get involved and get up to that 250,000 for
Absolutely.
Halifax.
Or more.
Or more.
The board has set the goal of $250,000, but there's no reason it couldn't be $25 million.
Yeah.
And imagine how much money would be
Wow.
going back to the area with $25 million and taking the revenue from that, especially as good as the stock market's been doing
Yeah.
recently. We've been very fortunate.
Yes.
Thank you to our local advisors as well.
Yes.
And so imagine what that would be able to do for our region, the great things. Halifax would be great if we had that kind of money to be able to give back to the local area.
Well, let's collaborate and make Halifax great.
Woohoo!
Let's do it. And I appreciate you spending time with us today.
It's an honor to be here, and it's an honor to visit with you. And thank you for all you do in building up this audience of people who care and want to see the good things that are happening in the area. So.
Absolutely. And thank you, everyone, for watching and listening to this episode of the Rogers Radio Podcast. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I feel like giving.
I did.
And I am excited to hear what you think and what you're going to give back to. So mention that in the comments, continue rating, reviewing, and subscribing. And we will talk to you next week.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.